You're watching today's Homesteader channel here at Peaceful Valley Ranch in Cotopaxi, Colorado, starring yours truly, Johnny Jules. Alright, welcome back Homesteader family. So I'm going to take you guys on a ride along back to the Cotopaxi store where I'm going to stop for lunch. And during this ride, while you guys enjoy the views and look for animals on both sides of the roads, the beautiful mountains, and that crystal blue sky with a little bit of fluffy clouds, I'm going to go over my 1 year of homesteading in review. I know I've been behind. I haven't got to it. It's been over a year. So for those of you that don't know, I went ahead, I got my first chickens September 13th of 2016. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I start homesteading? Well, the thought had crossed my mind because I had been living off-grid, which I still live off-grid. I do rain catchment, filtration systems. I do solar and battery bank for my electric. I use propane for my dryer, my hot water heater, my stove, and I just live a really easy, simple life with not a lot of bills. And how this all started was I had the curiosity. I had been hopping onto YouTube, watching YouTube videos just like you guys watch mine. And I looked up chickens and looked up rabbits and looked up goats and went into the whole spectrum because I like to do a lot of research. Well, as a lot of you that are homesteaders, or if you're looking at homesteading, will learn, you make a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And my first mistake is what got me into homesteading. So I can't really complain about that first mistake, but it was a big mistake. I went on Craigslist because I know Craigslist has a farm and garden section. And I went ahead and started looking for different animals and different things. And there was a large flock of chickens that the people were selling for like $3 or $4 a chicken because they were moving out of state with the military and couldn't have their chickens anymore. Well, it was up for 18 days, and I didn't think that the chickens were still there. So I sent an email with my phone number, and sure enough, my first mistake, they called and said, "Come get the chickens, they're all yours." Well, I wasn't thinking. So what did I do? I sent this Craigslist ad an email, got a response saying to come get the chickens, went and got the chickens, brought the chickens home, and the mistake was I did not have any infrastructure set up. So here I am with a couple dog carriers jam-packed with chickens. I picked up the dog carriers at a Goodwill on my way to pick them up. Got them for like $5 or $10 a piece. Well, I wasn't thinking. So I had all these chickens running around because I couldn't have them inside the crates because that would be mean. And I'm trying to chase chickens around all afternoon as I'm trying to put fence up because I picked up fence on the way home so I could make a makeshift pen for the night. So that's one thing you want to do. And I've said it in multiple videos. Go back to my fireside chat and look for the Homesteading A to Z. And that will tell you the steps of what you need to do to get into homesteading the right way. Now, another thing to think about is when you get into the homesteading lifestyle, it's a total change. Your days are totally different. Your nights are totally different. Your mindset is totally different. And what I mean by that is, it's not necessarily you have to be there 24/7 and have to work yourself into the grave. A lot of people make it look like with homesteading, you have to be there 24/7, do this, do that, do this, do that. That is not the case. As of right now, you guys that are watching the channel or the ones that are new to the channel will see that I take this drive every other day. Because I found out the mistake of homesteading, I'm now in the process of getting a new homestead, because one of the major mistakes that I also made was trying to homestead on property without water. Well, if a property doesn't have water on it, it's kind of hard to garden, farm, raise animals, and have household water all at the same time. Rain catchment just does not cover that. I learned that this past summer. I ended up having to have multiple water trucks brought up, and that's why I've signed a contract on a rent-to-own on 50 acres over at Peaceful Valley Ranch. So, I've gone through hell and back. I've had deaths on the homestead. I've had major mistakes on the homestead. And for those of you that are considering homesteading, I would recommend it. You're going to have to toughen up. You're going to have to rub some dirt on your cuts. And you're going to have to push through. Now, for those of you that have weak stomachs or don't like the sight of blood or don't like the loss of a pet, family member, or animals, homesteading is not for you. Because you're going to lose animals. You're going to have predators that will come in and kill your animals. You yourself could possibly be killed, as I was as of October last year, 2016, when I almost got killed by a mountain lion. You're going to see the leftovers from any of those kills. Your neighbor's dogs could come in, kill your chickens, kill your goats, kill your pigs. So when something kills one of your animals, it doesn't just pick it up, throw it in a plastic bag, and kill it inside the bag. You're going to have feathers, you're going to have skin, blood, and guts that you're going to have to witness. Also, if you're looking at homesteading for living off of your homestead, that's going to mean butchering your animals. So if you're going to end up butchering your animals, you're not only going to have the guts, the fortitude, and what have you, to be able to butcher your animals. But if you give them names and you make them pets, that's going to make it a lot harder for you. So that's another thing to consider, which was not so hard for me because I trained in the U.S. military. So killing something was what I was trained to do. Blood, guts, was trained on what I was supposed to see. So butchering comes easy for me. It's kind of one of those things that I just put in the back of my mind. It's gone. It's out of there. But at the same time, I do respect life and respect that if I'm going to butcher something, I'm going to use it. And coming up, I'm going to be having some pigs that I'm going to be looking at butchering. And that's going to be where I'll put my skills to use. The skills that I don't have. For those of you that know that I haven't really butchered anything except some chickens and some rabbits. Have not done anything that big. So that's going to be another experience. But overall, in my just over a year of homesteading, like I said, I started back in September 13th, 2016 when I got those chickens. I quickly grew because homesteading is kind of like a drug. It's kind of like cocaine, heroin, alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, sex, whatever type of drug. Homesteading is another one. Because once I had my chickens, I'm like, oh, I've got to try the next thing. So what did I do? I went right back to Craigslist. Started looking for some rabbits. So I went on, found some cheap rabbits for like $5 a rabbit. Bought a couple rabbits. Well, then the rabbits weren't good enough. So At that point, I realized if I keep buying animals, I'm not going to have money for feed. And I want more animals. So I decided to once again go back to Craigslist. I set up an ad talking about I'm taking in free animals, free chickens, roosters, rabbits, ducks, geese, everything under the sun. Well, I started getting phone calls. Got a phone call for 3 goats. That brought in some goats. I ended up losing that goat to the mountain lion attack that I was talking about. You can go back and look for the mountain lion attack video if you guys are interested in seeing that. I did get pictures of it. I don't have video of it because I was lucky that I survived the attack. But I did have pictures after I was able to put the lion down and neutralize the threat. So I lost that goat. Well, then I got 2 more goats, Mud and Mongo. And Mud and Mongo I got, I think, like October or November, something like that, of 2016. And I have just lost Mud about a month ago. I don't know what he died of. We think it was cardiac arrest because he was having breathing issues and one of my dogs attacked one of the new goats. So he might have got into a panic, had trouble breathing, and died. And then I also got 2 more donations of goats. I got another one that I got Jackson, the little Nigerian dwarf that I have. Pain in the ass. But I got him along with a bunch of chickens, a bunch of ducks, guineas, rabbits, just a whole bunch of animals. I got like, I think 82 animals total donated because the people lost their job, was in the process losing their house, so they had to give up all the animals on their homestead. I took them in, not the guineas, it wasn't guineas, it was quail. The quail I gave to somebody that wanted quail. I gave some rabbits away, some chickens, and some ducks. I did keep, I think, 46 of the animals. Jackson was one of them. And then I also got another goat donated named Marshall. Well, this is where homesteading really kicks in because I went to town. I wasn't home. Everybody was good when I left. I come home and Marshall had hooked his horn on one of the sapling trees inside of the pen. I guess went into a panic and ended up tearing his horn off of his head. Well, because town is about 45 minutes away, I had errands and everything to do. I was in town probably for 3 or 4 hours. By the time I got home, there was blood everywhere. Trees were covered in it. The fence had it on it. The goat barn wood had it. Tree stumps, logs, pallets, everything you could see had blood on it. Apparently, blood was going everywhere while I was in town. And because I was gone for so long and had no idea something like this would have happened, Marshall ended up losing too much blood. When I got home and saw everything going on, I found Marshall laying down. I rapidly ran inside, grabbed honey, which I started packing the wound with honey because that's antibacterial and keeps things from growing. I also got a thing of flour and started packing it with flour because that's what we were taught in the military, to pack the wound. The body will metabolize the honey, which will give the blood what it needs to produce more blood. And it also keeps bacteria out. And then the flour helps to clot the blood to make the platelets do their thing to make it scab over. So Marshall was doing a little bit better. He got up later that evening and came over. When I fed, he ate, he drank some water, and I thought he was going to be fine. Needless to say, I woke up early in the morning at sunrise, which was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Went outside to check on him because I didn't want to sleep in because I was worried about him. And it turned out he had made himself a nest, laid down, and ended up passing on in the middle of the night. So altogether, within a year, or just over a year of homesteading, I've lost 3 goats. So that's the big animals that I've lost. And then if you want to talk about chickens, I've had, I think, up to 300 chickens. And now with all the chickens over at Peaceful Valley Ranch, because of all the predators, the coyotes, the mountain lions, the bobcats, the lynx, the hawks, the eagles, the owls, the foxes, I have lost every single chicken I've had. Now, for the chickens, I'm not that disappointed in, because right now, since I'm not living at Peaceful Valley Ranch, because there's no building over there, no house yet, it's less mouths to feed, which saves me money. So I'm not too concerned about losing the chickens because I didn't have anything set up over there for the chickens. So far, the goats, the pigs, the ducks, the geese, they're all safe at Peaceful Valley. I do have Anatolian Shepherds, which I learned really quick when I lost my very first goat to that mountain lion attack, that if you do not have a LGD, which is a livestock guardian dog, you're going to lose your animals, especially if you live in the middle of nowhere like I do, up here in the high country. And that's because if you don't have a LGD, livestock guardian dog, you're going to have animals, predators that are going to come in for a tasty snack. So right after I lost my first goat to that mountain lion attack, I went right to the computer and started doing research like I always do. And there's all different livestock guardian dogs. But because I live in the high country where we have brown bear, black bear, cinnamon bears, grizzly bears, mountain lions, and wolves, big predators, I wanted something that's going to be able to fight, attack, guard, and take care of the animals. So there's, like I said, there's a whole bunch of different livestock guardian dogs, and I chose the Anatolian Shepherd. And the reason I chose the Anatolian Shepherd is because they date all the way back to Attila the Hun, and they've been used all around the world for protecting sheep flocks, herds of goat, and other livestock animals, cows and things like that. And in my research, they're known for killing lions, they're known for killing bears, and they're actually used down in Africa to ward off leopards, cheetahs, and different cats down there, and panthers. So that's one thing I wanted to make sure, that if something came in, my animals would be safe. And that's the livestock guard dog that I chose, was the Anatolian Shepherd. So all in all, if you're looking at homesteading, just do your research first, because it's going to be a lot of changes and a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to do. Watch a lot of YouTube channels. Watch a lot of channels like mine to find out what we've gone through, what we've fixed. So that will help you not make as many mistakes. You still will make mistakes, but don't fret about it. Don't be upset. You know, that's life. It's going to happen. But I will tell you, there's nothing like having a bad day or a depressed day or a sad day and have a bunch of animals to go over to and get kisses and hugs and go for walks, and just the love that they give. It's nothing like it. It brightens your day. any day of the week. And when they're acting goofy and doing crazy stuff, it's great entertainment that doesn't cost that much. Another thing you just want to think about is once you do get into animals, especially milking animals, you will be spending a lot more time on your property. And like I've said in this video, for those times that you're not home, disasters can occur. So if you don't want disasters to occur, you're going to want to be home a lot more often than you are right now. And the last piece of advice I would say is start small. Don't do what I did. Don't hop into all the animals at once, because then your food cost, your infrastructure cost, and everything else will skyrocket through the roof, and it will put a financial burden on you that will be a little bit difficult to deal with, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and everything else. So what I would recommend is get like 6 to 12 chickens. But before you get the chickens, make sure you have a coop, a fenced in area, and everything set up. Get the chickens, work with them for 6 to 8 months. Then go ahead and throw some rabbits in. Go 6 to 8 months. Go to the next animal, goats, pigs, whatever, and just slowly work your way. So that way you don't have such a hard time. You don't overwhelm yourself. You don't put too much financial burden on you. But at the same time, you're able to sit there and enjoy homesteading. Enjoy the animals that you have. Learn a new wholesome way of life. And basically a stress-free, carefree, healthy, wholesome way of living. So that's pretty much all I've got to say for this video for my 1 year of homesteading. I highly recommend it, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the journey, the views, the commentary, and everything else that I have to offer. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or topics you want me to cover in future videos, please leave a comment down below. And please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It helps throw a couple more pennies onto my account. And with that, I can do more homesteading, make more content, and make sure the animals are taken care of. So with that, I hope you guys have a great night, great day, great afternoon, and I'll talk to you guys later. I just want to take a moment and say thank you guys for watching my videos, for donating, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it, and it really means a lot to me. And remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be.